remember a dream that I once had regarding personal journey out of hell, or what maybe the Christians would consider hell. It's just another state of being, and something we do down here, I suppose. The process of dying and being reborn again on many different levels. Ours, including the plants and everything surrounding us. Flux between the life and death. But, yeah. I don't quite remember. The beginning is kind of fuzzy, but I just remember being in this, at the bottom of like a giant spiral staircase. And it was dark, it was gray, dingy, kind of almost very industrialized, very concrete and dirtiness. And it was really dark. And there were people who were also down there with me. A lot of them. And the general feeling was like this sense of being lost. And not really knowing what direction to go in. And it's like you're stuck kind of ruminating and being in that dark space. And I think for everybody, it's various things, usually traumatic events. And how that traumatic event will almost in a sense knock a piece of your spirit out. Maybe it's the child. Children are very easily scared. But anyway, we end up getting fucked up and scarred. So, when that happens and that spirit leaves, then we're kind of left in this, our own individual versions of hell, so to speak. And I think it's overcoming obstacles internally, more so, I suppose. And trying to heal. And a lot of us, when we're in that dark, dark place, are trying to fill that hole up that left inside of us, and we're trying to fill it with something that's going to help with the pain. And for some it's food, for some it's drugs, for some it's alcohol, or people, or things, whatever. We all have various ways of coping, and some are a little more self-destructive than others, I suppose. But still, ultimately, no matter what, we're going to die. And that's just something to accept It's okay. It is a little scary, I admit, but it's necessary. And just like everything that we see, again, will die. New seeds will be planted. Go forward, grow again, and in different forms. There are people who remember what it's like to be a tree. There are people who remember what it's like to be a wolf. There are people who remember what it's like to be a fish or a whale. Or dogs, cats. And that's not, I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. Because we've also been humans before, and humanity seems to be the only one that's really stuck on certain aspects. Anyway, long story short, so I began to climb the spiral staircase, and because I remember looking up and seeing like there was light above me, and I'm like, well, hell, I'm gonna climb towards the light. So I have a feeling that there's, beautiful things worth living for. But that's also another tricky thing, is trying to find one's sense of purpose, and that is highly individualized, and everybody serves a purpose. The shit, the insects, the dirt, the microorganisms in the dirt, the fungi, everything. And it all fits. It just is. Humanity has tried very hard to kind of create its own, I don't know what, something. Some version, perhaps, but can never seem to get it right. But is that really what's necessary? I don't think so. But anyway, so my nail polish. Yeah. So I climbed, and I found that there were still people on the staircase who were stuck at various levels. Almost, some of them were kind of, it's like they'd made it the journey up a little bit and then just got stuck there. And trying to work over things. Karma. From perhaps past lives or potentiality of future. I don't know. But we sit there, and then some of us will decide, hey, the light's still up there, I'm going to keep going towards the light. And it kind of just carries on that way over and over. And it's sometimes a very twisted, windy road. And sometimes we have to learn multiple lessons repeatedly until we get it. And that's not to be shamed. Just how slow, how fast, people are. So we make our journey up and up and up and up. And then for me, I came up through a doorway in the ground, and it was breathtaking. The colors, just life, green things growing, flowers, colors, sounds, smells, tastes. And I came up in my grandparents' garden in Fernie when I was little. And I just remember this feeling of like lightheartedness, happiness, laughter. And my grandma was out in the garden, and when I was little, I used to go walk around the trees, the cedar trees that were by her place, and just how the smells, just everything. And you'd play as children do and imagine things and make things into different worlds. And it was okay. And then, so just the amount of vegetation, like I remember the raspberries and thimbleberries, and my grandma taught me a lot about plants. My grandpa, my aunties, my mom. And gardening was definitely, I think, a strong part of it. Just seeing the new life growing and the fact that you could grow your own food. That was brilliant. Garden fresh peas, garden fresh carrots, superstores, big chains. Just, you can't match because of transportation, right? But yeah, so I came up in my grandparents' garden, and my grandpa takes my hand and he walks me inside, and my grandma comes into the kitchen. I remember sitting down. My grandpa was sitting in his chair, and I was sitting on the couch, and there was a lamp that used to be beside the couch on a little table with the phone and stuff, with the pictures of my uncles and aunties bull riding and bronco riding. And Grandpa, and it was really hard to see his face because it was so bright. but I knew it was him, and I heard his voice. And he kept asking me, "What is the word for light?" What is the word for light? And he was wanting me to tell him in Tunacha. And at the time, I had to really think about it. Honestly, I felt like I was still kind of reeling from just the beauty and trying to get my bearings. And I told him, I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, it's not exactly Natanik. Because when I think light, I think, sunshine, Natanik. But it's not just that. Nuka. Nuka. Light. I believe that's what it is. But in the dream, I think I was kind of stumbling over my words, trying to find it. And I came up with Natanik at the time, but he seemed okay with that and just can hear an eagle. My hope is that we will come up from our various hells. Song is important. Singing is important. And remembering where we are. Touch grass? Sure, but don't just touch grass, touch a lot of different things. The mountains, the rivers. And remember to be respectful always. Remember to put down tobacco. And I feel like once you have your pathway up, and we all have our different pitfalls, right? Some of us are addicted to cocaine. Some of us are addicted to alcohol, sex, food, many different things. And I feel like once we are able to call those spirits up and back into our bodies and come together and The two spirits are very important, you guys. We need. I think we forget a lot of the time that each one of us is both. Feminine, masculine. And so to varying degrees. And then there's the false but it's possible. It's possible to go up into our many different grandparent gardens, so to speak. Remembering our roots. But also reaching up towards light. Honoring that which gives us life. Honoring the elements. They are all important. Fire, spirit, energy. Is important energy. It's scary. Holy hell, is it ever fucking scary? But what happens when a forest fire comes through an area? What happens afterwards? And where and just leave it. Although certain ecosystems are possibly changed forever, and some leave. Some stay and change. Cleansed. And yeah, electricity. I kind of count that as its own kind of weird fire. And we apply that with water to balance it out, cool things down, move. But too much water, too much fire, you're out of balance. So making sure that you can balance it out. I mean, it's going to fluctuate. And then, well, we've got Earth all around us. We're on it. that which sustains us in the physical place. Mother. And we get to live. And ideally, it's like, yeah, your grandparents' garden. Safe. And not just for you, for everybody. Wonder. Curiosity. Learning. Experiencing. But, yeah. Spirit is simple. Humanity tends to make things more complicated than they need to be. But that's, I think, part of it too. It's all a learning process. And some of us have come up multiple times. We're allowed rest. Our spirits are allowed rest. There are ways to experience life. We get so stuck on being human most of the time, though. Honor our children. Don't hold them back from being who they need to be. It's not your life. It's not your path. As soon as you start trying to control someone else's path, you fall off of your own. I do agree with that. Your child really is their own masterpiece creating themselves, just as we are our own. It's just that some generations have been lost into thinking that there's a certain equation, specific way to go about things, and that's because that's what's been shoved down our throats. So, as long as you are not trying to feel like actively inflict harm, there are certain rules, I believe, and ways of being. We do have to respect other beings, right? We're not the only thing in this entire world. Those of you that remember what it's like to be a tree, those of you that remember what it's like to be a wolf. Perhaps even rocks. But, yeah. Song, vibration. Storytelling. Oh, sokalkokanena son mietke. O sukalkokani epic absence. Akahamis epic absence. O sukalkokani. Akan mituk. O sukalkokani. Kama amak. Tsakumi. Oo. Tsnapituk. Saho sukalkokani. Akan koko. Saho sukalkokani nipikas. And I know we kind of interchange Nipika with God and spirits. They're one and the same. We are all part of it. All of us. Everything. Microcosm to macrocosm. O sukalkokani kakulkaptsawas aklak nasha. O sukalkokani nuk inana. O sukalkokani. Tukskamna nindik. O sukalkokani. Akits lain. O sukalkokani. Akbuk. Bukam. Akbukam. Akbukam nam. O sukalkokani akullak big. Tsahal. And all of the names, because there are many and many songs. I need to spend time with them. I'm grateful. I'm trying to break out of my shell a little bit and be around more people, but it also takes out a lot from me in terms of energy, but I know people need hope. But Wesley's right. I need to be around people too, I guess. Yeah. I don't have to monitor anything here. I mean, in terms of like just everything that comes with humanity, energy, and kind of that chaos in some ways. I can breathe out here. I hope that many of us will continue to climb that spiral staircase up. We get stuck sometimes, that's okay. We fall off the wagon, so to speak. That's okay. It happens. So if we need to take pause, catch our breath, or to heal, that's okay. As long as we keep going up. And those that have come up, we tend to be very battle worn. A little bumped and bruised and scratched and scarred. And, well, that's comes with it. Traumatized, yeah. Singing our spirits back into our bodies. Heading towards the light. But also being changed and knowing dark. And those of us that are strong enough go down, try to bring up others below. Keep climbing. I found a pathway out. So can you. And some of us will have to be a little bit more mindful about to what degrees we expose ourselves to certain things. Sometimes that's people. But yeah, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Tajas.